This is for the culture.
What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. CI. Welcome back to For the Culture. This is episode number 2. And in this episode, you know what? I think I'm going to stop numbering the episodes. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about women leaving the workforce. If you've never tuned in to For the Culture, let me break it down for you a little bit about what it is that I do when I sit in this chair and talk to you about things that are for the culture. Now, this is geared towards supporting the Black community especially, but talking about different things that surround us and our community, different current events and problems, etc., and giving you the main thing, which is the topic at hand, the problem surrounding those topics, the facts, what it is that we know, and then the solutions, okay? I was going to say something else about what it is that we believe to be true. So, truth is subjective. So I say the facts. Here's what we know. All right. So with that being said, let's kick it off with the first topic of the day. Now, the first topic of the day is, y'all want to take a guess? Did you read the title of this video? It is Women Are Leaving the Workforce. No shit. Women, especially during COVID, are leaving the workforce in alarming numbers. Now, why is this happening? There are a number of reasons why this is happening. But the main problem is that workplaces haven't always been built with policies and practices that support women in the workplace, and especially caretakers and parents in the workplace. So I'm also give a shout out to the fact that there are single fathers and single parents out there as well who may be non-gender binary that don't identify as mother or father. But I'm saying that those exist within our community, right? So I want to take some time to honor that. And as I'm honoring that, I want to talk about why we built cultures that don't always support women in the workplace, and how even as other women, we can perpetuate it, especially it's not benefiting Black women. I mean, here's what we know. We know for a fact that Black women make less money in the workplace than especially white men, but also white women, right? The average per dollar is just lower for Black women. You can go do the data. You can go look that up. You're going to figure that out. You also have to understand that when women are pregnant and they leave the workplace, they are more likely to be punished, especially Black women, but also white women and other women from Black and indigenous populations of color. So I'm saying that it affects us all. But again, remember, this is for the culture. So I'm speaking from the perspective of a Black woman, especially to my community and to other communities that want to show up and support us and need to hear this, right? And y'all trying to figure it out. So that's the fact. The other fact we know is that women are less likely to be hired, especially if the male is a recruiter and the person in HR who's reviewing your resume is a man. If they're not intentional and don't have awareness, they are less likely to hire you when they see even your name. And especially if you have what we consider an ethnic sounding name, especially for Black women and men, but this is about women today, y'all. I love y'all, men, non-gender binary people. I'm here for y'all. But today I'm talking about women. Now, that's another fact. We also know that policies around maternity and paternity, policies around promotions and pay, they need work. Those are facts. The facts are that if women often can't work a 9-to-5 workday or an 8-hour shift per week, then they're likely to lose their jobs or leave the workplace if they need to go home and take care of small children, or they are caretakers for their family members, etc. We know that is a fact. And if you don't believe me, again, you can Google it, because I'm over trying to give y'all some resources, but I will provide some in the description just because that's who I am. Now, what's next? So how do we stop it from happening? Because people are like, all right, we get that. We know that those facts exist. We've been talking about them for years. So how do we change them? Well, first, I'm going to start with talking about flexible work schedules, especially for working mothers. I mean, here's a question for y'all, and talk to me in the comments. When the hell did we get into this space where we started to believe that every job needed to be 40 hours a week or more in order to achieve a certain salary, in order to achieve certain milestones? We need to get rid of this 9-to-5 or 10-to-6 or 7-to-3 idea of coming into the workplace. Get rid of the flex schedules. Fuck those. We don't need those. What we need y'all to do is to focus on milestones, all right? If, for example, you say to a person that you are hiring, here's what we need to accomplish in the next month. What capacity do you have? How much bandwidth do you have? What can you and your team accomplish? Here's the time span that you have to do it. And if you meet those milestones, then, you get rewarded for your work, which could be keeping your job or getting a promotion in salary. Get rid of this idea that, we just gonna pay people to work 9 to 5. Nobody gives a fuck about that anymore, nor should they, right? People are okay with working from home, and this pandemic has showed us, if anything, especially with companies that you can see are being more productive during COVID because people have the freedom to work from home. But also even within those companies being more productive, you have to be mindful about how many women they have lost in their workplace during this pandemic. Right? Because somewhere along the way, we still have policies that says if you don't meet these certain requirements around schedule, etc., availability, we gonna fire you or we need you, especially in startup. And trust me, I am a CEO of 2 startups. And so I understand what it means to have pressure on you and to be able to meet deadlines and understand that we are existing in a world that is not very friendly if you don't confine or assimilate to that. And so I am here giving you a conversation about the fact that we just need to get rid of that, right? It doesn't make any sense. The next solution, number 2, that I'm going to give you is childcare. Workplaces, it's time for y'all to start creating stipends for working parents or caretakers to have their people taken care of. And I mean that you don't need to just restrict those stipends to people who have daycare licenses. You could even give those stipends to people in their family who are taking care of their little ones or their young ones, etc. But why don't we create stipends for childcare, especially for small children or women who have infants who have just given birth that might have taken 6 months off? And for the record, side note, maternity policies should be a minimum of 6 months. Some of y'all do 12 weeks, they should be a minimum of 6 months. Paternity policies, etc., should be a minimum of 6 months. That's my perspective, and I think that that's more equitable, but you should extend it up to a year if a person needs it, and offer a policy where they might have a request if, for example, they have birth complications. Because when you think about us, especially giving birth and being in labor, if you are having complications, which race is more likely to die when giving birth? It's us, right? So for our culture, for the culture, for equity, for the purpose of inclusion, and especially when it comes to us, create child care stipends where we can pay for non-traditional methods of child care in order to help, one, earn our living, but help other people around us who may have a skill or a gift in that area who need money, financial support. So that's my thing. That's the problem, the main thing, what it is that we know, and all of the solutions. Again, I am Dr. CI. If you like my hoodie, how can I make the world a better place to live today? Go check us out. You can see the bio or the description in the you can see the link in the description below and click on it and check out the merchandise that we have at Diverse City, which I am the CEO of. This is one of the many things that we do. We do diversity, equity, and inclusion consulting. We also do social justice forward fashion, t-shirts, mugs. If you don't want to wear a sweatshirt or a sweater or a hoodie or whatever, just go check it out. We got something for everybody as we deliver y'all these positive messages. So once again, I am Dr. CI, and this is episode number 2 of For the Culture. Y'all have a great one. I'll talk to you.